What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Random Biter Scraps, your favorite rambling BS that goes on while you're bored at work or washing the dishes. Today, we are doing a nice little remaster of my first YouTube faux pas, which is not plugging in a mic all the way while I'm blabbering on and on about how my camera quality has improved so much and the equipment has changed the way that I make Random Biter Scrap videos. So today we are back on the phone and the gimbal. And the difference is today you can actually hear me. So I'll be intersplicing plenty of footage of me going on and on about this topic, doing some B-roll and stuff like that. But the topic is pretty simple. I, as you can see, like my collectibles, like my little statues and stuff like that. I've never been a big Hot Toys or sideshow collectibles type of guy where you're spending over $100 on one thing. I'd much rather a little Funko Pop here, a little vinyl figure from Band Presto there, and you know, I can put them on my desk. I'm a graphic designer. I like being inspired by some of my favorite cartoons, anime, works of fiction like Marvel and DC Comics. My amiibos, like things like that are my bread and butter. They're small, they're not necessarily subtle, but they're unassuming. I can put one on my desk at work or a couple on my desk here at my work from home setup and nobody bats an eye. And that's where I found myself, in the toy section of our favorite store, Five Below. Now, Five Below was usually a place I would go in college to get, random USB chargers and lamps and like random BS, but they've really built out their selection of, they've partnered with Funko a lot, which, folks have their opinion on Funko Pops and, the creativity or lack thereof, but I personally enjoy them, so I'll be showing you today my haul from not one but two random dog-related appointments that brought me to Five Below and the toy section specifically, and what I was able to find for pretty damn cheap. Obviously $5 or less. For starters, my first haul was very unexpected. I went with my fiance, picked up a couple things, and discovered that they had Funko Minis, which is cool, and I also discovered that they have this line called Metal Figs. So the first I will be including some B-roll is this little metal die-cast Batman. Now the cool thing about him is he has this purple cape, he has this gold detailing around the bat symbol itself, but most importantly it's just very hefty. It has very cool, like, big head, chibi but dark and edgy kind of quality to him, which is very cool to me personally, and just has a good weight to him. So I have this glass top desk here, and you can tell the difference when something's a cheap plastic or like a nice weighty figure, and that's just always cool to me personally. Next is two awesome mini Funkos for which I am aptly dressed and not just in my work clothes. We have Tanjiro and we have Inosuke from Demon Slayer, which is very cool. There are two different versions of Tanjiro, one where he was just doing probably the third breathing water technique, third whatever I'm trying to say. Here he has a water dragon, which I think is pretty badass personally, so very cool. I don't have one of the Band Presto statues, but this is a pretty damn good start, and I love my favorite boar-headed man over here, so it was cool to pick both of them up for quite cheap, for less than the cost of just one of them in the full scale form. And then last but not least, I love me some Dragon Ball Z, and Broly is one of my favorite characters from when I was a kid, before I even really watched the show too much. I used to get the Shonen Jump magazine from my mom, and they had little inserts on a lot of Broly toys back in the day, and it was just so cool how he was hulking in size compared to Goku. And Vegeta had this, like, at the time, like metallic gold hair with the white eyes and like the headdress and the heavy gold chain and stuff like that. I thought he was in the furs, the red and the yellow. Such a cool character. I know nowadays it's more so the neon and the furs, and I haven't yet seen the Dragon Ball Z or the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie quite yet, but I've heard amazing things, and I just love having a little Broly. I have a couple different ones, but for my desk, it's has some opposable arms. It is that cheap plastic we talked about, but it is pretty cool and I couldn't pass it up. So that was my first haul, like pretty damn good. Just grabbed a couple things. Definitely spent too much time in the toy section for my liking, but the second trip around while Duncan the pup was getting was getting shampooed and his nails trimmed for a nice little hangout, was definitely tripling down on these metal figs here. So in the DC realm, to go with my Batman collection, and we got an addition to my Superman collection, this beautiful, very glossy die-cast Superman with the metal cowlick, with the heavy weight to it, very defined with the musculature. Just very cool, very nice addition. It complements the Batman very well, and the reason I have a Batman and Superman collection, or a Superman collection at all, is I have all this Batman stuff in the Batman versus Superman Funko Pop series. Although the movie didn't quite hit as much as I had hoped for, it's some great iconography, so I ended up accidentally building up that collection. So very happy with my DC selection here. They had Wonder Woman and Flash, but didn't quite call me as much, and I think Ezra Miller has something to do with that. But they also looked very cartoony. They had like big eyelashes and stuff, and we just don't have that problem with Supes here. Moving on to Marvel, we have a very, very nice weighty Spider-Man here. It's very cool. He is a lot more, he's built like a wrestler here. He's built like Taz from ECW, where he's very squat, very muscular, broad shoulders, which you don't see with Spidey a lot. He's often like pretty stringy and pretty lean, but he's pretty jacked here. It's kind of funny. And then speaking of jacked, we have Eddie Brock himself. We have this awesome Venom here that has just the widest back I've ever seen. He is so heavy. His head is giant, the tongue is giant, the eyes, the teeth, like all the things you could get wrong with, like, if you think to the Topher Grace Spider-Man 3 Venom, where he just looked like a guy in a suit. This is the big exaggerated proportions that I love in a good Venom thing. He looks like the 90s cartoon, he looks like the comic design, and he's just like a larger than life presence. And like I said, very weighty, feels great on the desk. He'll be a regular addition to my little desk lineup here. And then next is, I saw a Transformers metal fig last time I was there, but it was not Optimus Prime, it was Optimus Primal, and it was Optimus's head here on a stupid gorilla body. And I understand like where they're coming from, but to have the that 1980s-esque matte finish, toyetic Optimus Prime here is very cool. The colors pop very well. The red and the blue and the silver look great. They're not too glossy. Obviously, it's far from the Michael Bay Transformers design, which I'm greatly appreciative of. And then, of course, had to get Bumblebee as well. He's not quite a Volkswagen Beetle, but he's got his little spare wheel in the back. He looks more like he's built as like a cab for this particular one, but I'm not too worried about it. He has that cool matte finish, very streamlined design of his face. And I think that's awesome. And then you can't get Optimus Prime without getting our guy Megatron, and he caught my eye as well, but I didn't want to just have a Megatron. You have that streamlined design, that very simplified, not like a garbage disposal. He looks very menacing. He has his cannon on the back, very cool. So to have these three guys together is very nice and much appreciated. So they're weighty. They're not quite as weighty and glossy as the Marvel figures, but pretty damn good. And then last but not least, this caught my eye and I couldn't tear away from it. I love Invader Zim, and this is a really quality vinyl figure that has a good scale to it. If you compare it to the Brawly, or if you compare it to the Spider-Man, he towers over them. He's the perfect fit next to my newest acquisition, which is the SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated Special Edition Shiny Edition statue. I think they go hand in hand, and that's a good representation of my favorite animation style, my favorite type of humor from that era, without having to get all this kiddie stuff. I think it's a pretty cool thing. If I can get a Gur riding a flying pig, that would really make it. But other than that, I'm pretty content with the really dynamic, wild, gravity-defying pose that our guy has with his tongue and the little backpack. But the colors, the texture is just awesome. It's very matte and very animated, and just brings me a lot of joy. So having this on a corner of my desk when I'm trying to be creative in my industry is just a great little reminder. So overall, I would just say if you have a Five Below near you, it's a great spot to just check out. Try to act like you're getting your son or nephew something for their birthday, but check out the toy section. They've got some pretty great miniatures for your desk, for your bookcase, and yeah, like I said, the cost of all of them together is less than some introductory level figures, some PVC figures. So yeah, if you like this type of content, I'll definitely dive through my Batman figure collection, my amiibo collection for sure, my Marvel stuff, some of my old Spider-Man action figures that I have on display. And you know, like I said in my last video, I have a Sonic Mania special edition that I'm trying to bring out. Like, I'll definitely bring you all through the process of building out my second bookshelf here of all like the movie related stuff, the animation, the anime related stuff, and making that look classy in an otherwise very minimal modern design that my lovely fiance has outfitted our apartment with. And I'm trying not to ruin that with my dumb toys. But if you're trying to bug your partner with some dumb toys, you know, keep watching these videos. Let me know if you enjoyed this. Hit up your local Five Below. And yeah, let me know what some of your favorite pieces of your collection are. Let me know what you want to see from my collection, and keep it locked for the next one. And if you're into more gaming focused gaming focused videos, head on over to Random Binder Gaming. That is the main channel. We post every Saturday between 30 minutes and an hour. We're trying to scale it back to 30-45 minutes of just good, highly edited comedy, gameplay focused stuff, sports games, fighting games, old licensed games like SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. I'll be chronicling my first adventures in that. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for more toy, action figure, random nerd stuff. And thanks so much for checking out this video. I will catch you in the next one. We'll go with Venom. Later.